How to make a buyer's persona. Hello, entrepreneurs. Welcome back to Behind the Brains podcast. If you have been following us for a while, then you would have noticed that I have been talking a lot about creating a buyer's persona and why it helps you to market your business effectively. Today, in this episode, I'll talk about how to make a buyer's persona and why it is necessary while targeting your customers and marketing your business. So, hold tight and stick with me till the end. And if you haven't yet subscribed to Behind the Brains podcast or followed it, then do so. When it comes to identifying and understanding your customers, you need to know things that trigger them to buy your product or services, like their motivation points, pain points, their goals, and what do they want to achieve. Now, getting this data is really tough, and you can rely on a secondary source of information for this. I'll cover later in this episode on how you can gather this information. But first, let's see what exactly a buyer's persona is. A buyer persona is a detailed description of someone who represents your target customer or your target audience. This is not a real customer, but a fictional person who embodies the characteristic of your best potential customers. You'll give this customer persona a name, demographic details, interests, and behavioral traits. You'll understand their goals, pain points, and buying patterns, as I mentioned before. You can give them a face using stock photography and make it more realistic. And for the fun fact, some businesses have gone so far as to create cardboard cutouts of their personas to make them a real presence within the office. This actually motivates the team to target the customers and market their products and services to the right people. This allows you to craft marketing messages targeted specifically to them. Your buyer persona will guide everything from product development to your brand voice to the social channels you will use. Since different groups of people may buy your products for different reasons, you might need to create more than one buyer persona. You cannot get to know every customer or prospect individually, but you can create a customer persona to represent each segment of your customer base. But how would a fictional character or a fictional persona help your business to market your products and services better? This is how. First of all, it will help you to reframe your work from the customer's perspective. Marketers too often use corporate speak and a lot of buzzwords that don't really mean anything. Buyer's persona can help you avoid that trap by reminding you to think about the real humans who read your social post and engage with your content. The buyer's persona will always help you to focus on your customers' priorities rather than your own, which will result in more sales. Think about your buyer persona every time you make a decision about your social media marketing or your overall marketing strategy. Does a new campaign address the needs and goals of at least one of your buyer persona? If not, you have a good reason to reconsider your plan, no matter how exciting it may be. Build your social strategy based on helping your personas meet their goals. In this way, you'll build a bond with the real customers that they represent. It's all about boosting sales while creating brand loyalty and trust. Secondly, it will help you to target your social advertisements effectively. Social advertising offers incredibly detailed targeting options. Once you define your buyer's persona, you can create social ads that speak directly to the target audience you have defined. Later, you can use this social ads targeting to get your ad in front of the right people. You can create separate ad content for each and every buyer persona that you have defined. This advanced level of targeting increases conversion rates and improves social advertisement campaigns, which in return can give you an edge over your competitors and build more trust and loyalty amongst your customers. So, a buyer persona actually is more beneficial than just speculating what your audience would look like and what they do. But remember, the process of creating a buyer persona is hectic, though it's a lot fun while creating it. Now, let's talk about the real part of this episode, creating your own buyer's persona in 3 steps. Just a reminder that don't make this too complicated to understand and too hard to implement. Keep it simple and easy for your marketing team to understand. Number one, do thorough audience research. This is the most obvious part because every marketing process starts with the audience research. But when you market without a buyer's persona, it's easy as you can just speculate some things and add some content to it and it's done. But while making a bios persona, you'll have to take the real world data as this persona will be referred for the future marketing process of your product and service. Speculation and guessing won't work here because that would ruin your marketing efforts and you won't see much results, which is the problem of most of the businesses at present. With real world customer data, you can make a buyer's persona and refer to it while your marketing process, as it will make it more easier and much more effective in the future. And the returns on investment for your marketing process will be a lot more higher. And that's my guarantee. I've explained in detail about how to identify your target customer in my recent podcast episode, which you can refer to after I finish this one. But to give you a short explanation, consider details like age, location, language, spending power and patterns, interest and hobbies, challenges they face, and the stage of life they are in right now. And for a B2B business, also consider the size of business you would be targeting and who makes the purchasing decisions in that particular business. Gather this information from social media analytics, especially Facebook audience insights, your customer database, Google Analytics, or make a separate survey which your customers can fill out. Also, consider your competitors' target customers and how they use their marketing strategy to get more in depth details for your customer's persona. Take some clues from the customer research your competitors have already done using tools like BuzzSumo to search for the top search content across social media networks, including engagement data. Search streams, where you can set up streams to monitor your competitors' posts and look for patterns in hashtags, post types, and content strategy. Number two, identify your customers' pain points, goals, and show them how you can help them to resolve them and to achieve their goals. What problems are your customers trying to solve? What is holding them from achieving their goals? What barriers do they face while accomplishing their goals? What is their end goal? What path do they choose to achieve that goal? How can you help them to resolve their problems? And how can you help them to achieve their end goals? Ask yourself these questions and add them to the buyer's persona. In this way, you'll have a perfect representation of what your customer face and what is their end goal, plus how you are going to help them in achieving their goals and resolve their problems. This makes your marketing much more easier and you can see higher results after implementing them in your marketing strategy. One best way to find their problems and goals is by social listening. See what they talk about you behind your back and on their social media platforms. What problems do they face and what do they want to achieve? Setting up search streams to monitor mentions of your brand, product, and competitors give you a real time look into what people are saying about you online. You can learn why they love your products or services or which part of the customer experience are they just looking to resolve or it's not working better for you. It's also a good idea to talk to your customer service department as they have the most amount of information when it comes to problems and suggestions. Try to solve their problems and take their suggestions into consideration before making any changes. This way, they'll feel much more confident and valuable, which increases the chances of brand loyalty and brand trust. Another great thing is to talk to your sales department as they have a direct contact with the people before selling anything and after selling. They know their pain points and buying motives better than anyone else in your business. And always try to emphasize the benefits that you provide them and not just the features of the product or services. A feature is what a product is or does. A benefit is how your product or service make your customer's life easier or better. Ask yourself three questions for each of the pain points and goals you have calculated or collected. How can we help? Capture that in one clear sentence and add it to your personas template. What are your audience main purchasing barriers and how can you help overcome them? Where are your followers at in their buying journey? This is the most important part. Are they researching or ready to buy or looking for reviews? Always consider your buyer's journey while targeting them. I have explained more in depth about the buyer's journey in my previous episode, which was named How to Understand and Target Your Customers. I'll link it below in the description. And finally, number three, create your buyer's persona. You have collected all the information that you needed to make this persona. Now put it on a piece of paper or make a presentation or do whatever you want. Just remember that it should be available as and when you need it. Just to tell you what all things to include in the buyer's persona. Always give them a name, age, gender, occupation, and education, average income and disposable income, martial status, product adoption group, which means which group of product they belong into. Are they tech savvy, marketing tools, or any other group that you would like to mention? Personality traits, their bio, social media activities, lifestyle hobbies and interests, challenges and goals, motivation factors, device they use, and platforms where they are available, type of content they consume, and their buyer journey. This would make up your real life customer. But remember, if your ideal customer does not have these in common, then it doesn't mean it's wrong. Even if 50 to 70% of the traits match up, then try to target them because they can be your potential customers in future. I'll give you an example of a random person as a buyer's persona so you can get a clear idea of what would it look like. Name would be Kenzie Taylor, 24 years old, single woman with a management degree and is a departmental manager at XYZ company. Earns $300,000 annually. Is a taxpayer, of course. Loves technology and innovation. Is calm, pretty, and humble. Loves to go trekking and swimming with friends. Uses iOS and MacBook. Active on LinkedIn and Twitter. Uses social media once a day just for news and updates. Has mental illness and wants to achieve total freedom and happiness. Is a sports enthusiast and always looks for new brands to try to. This is just an example, so don't take it too seriously because I have just mixed a lot of things here. But you get it, right? In this way, you can make your buyer's persona and then use it to target your customers, which will increase your brand awareness in front of the right audience, get more sales for your business, and get more loyal customers. If you want any help regarding this, then contact me personally on my Twitter or Instagram. The handle is Dhaval Kawatra. Or just DM on Behind the Brains Official on Instagram. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Behind the Brains podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Behind the Brains podcast is on 11 major podcasting platforms and is also listed on IMDb. So make sure you subscribe to us and follow the podcast or whichever platform you're listening to us right now. Share this episode with your team members and let them know they have a job this week. Share them with your friends too so they can learn something valuable. I hope you have a great week. And if you are stuck with anything, let me know and I'll try to help you out. For now, let's end this podcast episode right here. I'm Dhaval, founder and host of Behind the Brains podcast. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep listening, keep hustling.